Confusion and things if not of Him. That means that we're probably not applying faith as John has been trying to teach. But that we need to have faith in our faith. We need to have this, and we need to use it and trust that God knows what He's doing. All through the Bible, He explains that, around Job there was a hedge. Even the enemy said, you got a protection around him. I can't touch him. So see, there's a protection. And if God allows things and allows situations, then He's trying to tell us something, and we need to be searching and understanding and trying to figure out what, God, are you trying to try the reins of my heart? Are you trying to show me something about me? Or were you trying to guide me in things? And I want to apply faith to this so that I can grow and become what you want me to become. Or I can look back and say, I don't deserve this, I'm mad, I'm upset, and I'm going to have a terrible day. And people are having more terrible days than they are good. People are struggling more than they are good. Some days, I just see it through. It's everywhere. Not just here, but it's everywhere. I see people at moments in their life that they're ready to do anything. They're excited about God. They're ready to just run and do all kinds of things for the Lord. But then about 6 of the 7 days out of the week, they're down. They're in torment. They're in destruction. They don't have no heart. They don't have no desire. They don't have no uplift about them. Why? Because they're not applying faith to what knowledge they have, or they don't have it. They don't have the knowledge to understand what's going on, and you better be seeking it to figure out what's happening in your life. But are you applying faith? That's what I want to ask you. And I think the Lord wants you to search your heart today, search your mind today, and really look at what understanding, the mysteries that He's revealed to us. The things that He shows us. The Word is written with full of mysteries that we can understand what is going on in our life. But if we do not apply faith, just like He said, right here, if you do not apply faith, then it's going to do you no good. With anything, you're not going to receive the fruit. Are you enjoying life? Or is life more abundant for you right now? Is it being more abundant for you? Are you enjoying anything at all, or is life a struggle for the most part? Is most of your days a tough day? You want to know why? You cannot see people in the spiritual realm. You cannot apply faith to the situations around you. If you think people's against you or whatever, and you do not see the real spiritual side of that person, that little tree that's went through a storm and a limb fell off, and all they're doing is their little limb broke off and hit you, as we've used many times. Or that person that's a babe that don't understand, and they're just lashing out at you because they're just a babe and they don't understand. And we let it get to us, and we let it get us into a torment. We let us get into a situation that we just don't want to be in. It gets deeper and deeper. And like we explained last week, if you let one levee, if you let one protection, one shield area down and let the enemy get inside, let him start eating away at you, it's like Katrina at New Orleans. It'll continue to eat and destroy. Faith is what holds your shields up. It's what holds the situation. Above all, the shield of faith, it's what keeps you protected. That you trust that God knows what He's doing, how He's doing it, and you trust His Word and what He showed you about it. And you've got to use that faith in believing that God knows what He's doing in this. Are you using it? Because it's the only way we can win. It's the only way we're going to find any kind of victory. I truly believe, and I think that most of you absolutely believe this is the last church. I believe that most of you here know that this is the last days, and He gives clear guidance to the last days. He talks about it clearly, telling us. And this is why I think it's almost a similar circumstance compared to what Jesus faced when He came here. If you want to be going to Revelations chapter 3, verse 21 and verse 22. When Jesus came to this world, they were teachers that were teaching wrong. They had the Jews that were just trying to control. They would tell people. They had rituals or they had traditions. If you remember, they even argued tradition with Jesus. telling him of washing of hands and things. And Jesus said, that's a tradition. That wasn't my Father's law. You just brought those things in. And today we have the same thing. I think for generations, man has been teaching traditions and teaching ways and teaching situations. And when Jesus came, He was faced with the same hardness of heart, or people convinced that they were in the right in what they were doing. They would argue with the Son of God now. They would argue with Him that He was wrong. They would argue with Him up and down that He didn't know what He was doing. You got it all wrong. Moses showed us the way, and this is clearly the way, and this is the way we've got it. But no, they didn't line up. They added to and took away and formed it into what they wanted. Is that not what we see today? That man is forming when you can put a homosexual in as a bishop of a church? Is that not man forming the laws or the Bible into the ways that they want it to make it do what they want it to? Is it not the same situations? And I think this is why Jesus says right here, why He says it the way He does. I think it's important for us to understand that He showed us the way, and if we don't follow the way He showed us, we will not be overcomers. He will allow us to let the enemy destroy us and take us out. It will take us into a place we don't want to go. Revelation 3:21-22. This is to the last church, the Laodicean church. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcome, and am set down with my Father in His throne. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. Let me explain. I think that, one, the reward is tremendous if you can overcome a lukewarm state. The reward right there, He tells us, is wonderful. It's a great thing. But you have to do it. You've got to overcome the same way I overcome. Why? Because it's the same. Why is it like that? Because you're facing the same pain I faced when I was here. When I come upon this earth, people were the same way that it's going on right now. It was the same way back then. Just a little bit more technology, a little bit more greater things that we have than what they had back then. But people's mindset, hearts were hardened. They were fixed in the ways that they were going to go. They'd been taught through tradition and things for years that this is the way. And Jesus was having a hard time breaking through to them. Himself, the Son of God, was having a tough time breaking through. But if He'd have let it got to Him, if He'd have let these situations get to Him and people arguing doctrine and situations with Him, but no, He applied faith to what He knew, the mysteries that He knew, the things that He understood that God had taught Him and showed Him. He said, I teach the things that my Father has showed me and taught me, and I apply faith to it here on earth, even though I see that people don't use it. This is how I overcome. And this is how you have to overcome. This is the only way you're going to be able to overcome. You're going to have to do it the same way I did it. You're going to have to apply the faith to that mystery, to that knowledge, to that understanding, and not let the enemy get to you no matter how a situation looks. No matter how bad something may look, you cannot let the enemy break one of your levees. You cannot let him talk to you. You cannot let the what-ifs come. You've got to stand strong on what you know to be the truth, no matter what it is, because you can do nothing for the truth but the truth. And this is what God is trying to say, and I believe that Jesus is trying to tell the last church. You're faced with the same problems I was faced with. Yes, and I've told you many times, sometimes it's going to be hard to change ourselves or to change our ways and how we thought or the ways that we see others do it, because it's easy. It'd be easy to step over to other denominations or other ways and say, oh man, this is easy, I want to go this way. You know, the no-heller way, saying that everybody will make it. Don't worry about it. And just like I said, I preached a funeral with them, and I only had one question for that preacher and his congregation. We preached to convince. If it don't matter, then why preach it? Why do you want to preach it? Just let it go if it don't matter. But we got that going on now the same way that Jesus had. The Jews had their way. They were